Imagine a world where healthcare doesn't come with sky-high premiums, confusing paperwork, or the constant worry about hidden costs. Well, that world could just become a reality. Welcome back, friends, to the Healthcare Wayfinders podcast, where we are routing you to more accessible and cost-effective healthcare. I'm your host, Zach Ayton, and today we have Chris Rumkaratar here with us, Vice President of Business Development at Impact Health Sharing. Chris and his team are reshaping the healthcare landscape with an innovative membership-based model that's not only cost-effective, but also broad-based and transparent. Let's dive in. Chris Rumkaratar from Impact Health Sharing. It's great to have you on the Healthcare Wayfinders podcast, man. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. We are excited to hear about you and about Impact Health Sharing and about health sharing in general. Can you give us just a little bit of background about you and about Impact to get us started off today?
Yeah, sure. So Impact Health Sharing, we're going to be in our fifth year of business this year and took this approach of trying to find a way to help people save money. We came from a different world. We came from the benefits world, right? Our CEO, myself, and some of our other team. And back then, it was we helped people save money in a variety of different industries, over 20 something industries. And one of the ways that we always looked at is, okay, how can we help people save money on their healthcare? And came across this idea, right? This concept of healthcare sharing. We didn't even know about it, honestly. And the more we learned and the more we discovered and unpacked this healthcare sharing industry, we're like, oh my goodness, if we could figure out a way to partner with someone, we could look at helping our membership at that time save money on their healthcare, exactly what we were looking to do. And the more we continued to dive into it, there was this niche or this niche, but itch, I should say, that our CEO had, Phil Chrysler, and he was like, I think we need to be starting our own. And why? Because healthcare sharing started many years ago, and it started in the churches. So if you're in a church and anyone in your congregation contributed to the medical expenses in that congregation. So everyone will pay something, put money forth, and then any sort of medical expenses that arose at that within that community, it would have been paid for within that community. That's how it all started. And so the concept for most healthcare sharing companies today is that they're still religious based, right? And so you have to be of faith. And nothing's wrong with that. But we said, okay, being that we were in the membership business, we're like, okay, we do have people that are outside of maybe the Christian faith, the Catholic faiths, right? So we have folks that are Jewish and Hindus, et cetera, right? So how are we able to be more inclusive with all those people, considering all those people? And the result was, let's start our own healthcare sharing organization. And so we did this, basically started diving into the logistics of it and trying to figure out what it was and how to get into it and how to start it up. And we came across a partner, basically this entity that we've partnered with that basically is a TPA for us, a third party administrator. And what they do is they've created the technology. And so what separates us from the marketplace, one is, that we are inclusive of all religions, right? We do have a faith-based type guideline, right, that we all abide by, which is love thy neighbor. And if you look at what Jesus has said and other faith-based, other religious groups, everyone abides by love thy neighbor, right, in some form or fashion. So that's inclusive of all religions. And what is your neighbor, right? Your neighbor could be a different person of a different religion, different creed, different race, right? So us being Impact Health Sharing, we're able to accept everyone. So that's actually, again, what separates us from the competition, which is great, and what obviously made us extremely relevant to our membership at the time, right? And makes us obviously relevant today. But this TPA that I referred to, they have over 100 years of experience in healthcare sharing, combined experience in healthcare sharing. So they created the technology that positions us with this extremely advanced modern day of doing healthcare sharing. What does that mean? Everyone pays in their monthly share, but they see literally what percentage of their monthly share goes into the reserves, what percentage goes into administrative costs, what it goes into program cost. So you can see the separations of monies. And then when obviously medical bills arise in the community, it's extremely very transparent with this TPA, right? you're able to literally log in and see whose medical bills without telling you the illness or who exactly they are, but you can honestly know where your money is being attributed to within the community, which is again separates us from the transparency as well. So you're talking religion transparency, which allowed us to say, man, we feel really good about starting up this organization, having that TPA behind us, providing us with this new modern day of the way healthcare sharing was originally designed and bringing it to modern day, giving it very much like this almost similar to what insurance with the insurance world is accustomed to, right? You're getting a member card, there's a payer ID on the back of it. We can go into those details, right? But those, again, we literally have given you the best in class service, inclusive of all religions, love thy neighbor approach, and then it gives you the closest thing to what you're accustomed to in insurance.
Yeah, that's really cool. It sounds like you guys found a model and then made it work for what you guys wanted to do as far as the community that you wanted to create. So that's really awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about, I feel like one of the big selling points of a health share is the cost effectiveness of it. Can you talk a little bit about the difference from a cost perspective for healthcare about being part of a health share versus like traditional insurance or not having a health share or
Yeah,
health insurance?
yeah, absolutely. Insurance has its purpose. And for a lot of people, the vast majority out there, it's working for them, right? But what you're doing is you're paying for, I think there's a statistic out there that says 95% of the population pay for 5% of the medical expenses that actually arise in the United States. So what does that mean? So there's a lot of money that you're putting forth in insurance. Again, it has its purpose it works as it's supposed to, but you're paying for that, you're paying for shareholders, you're paying for profits. Every business model thrives on profitability, right? Whereas with us, we don't, yes, we definitely need to be above a specific threshold to pay our bills, but at the end of the day, we're not for profit. And healthcare sharing companies are not for profit. So we don't have to report to an executive board or shareholders to say to them, this is where we're at, this is how much. There's none of that. And so when you eliminate all of the need for why you need to raise the cost in healthcare, that's why we could be a very good solution to a family, right? And individuals out there that's looking for an inexpensive way that has very comprehensive in terms of what's eligible to be shared, giving you a really nice solution for healthcare.
That's cool. Let's say I'm a family of three, husband and wife and a kid. If I was looking at joining Impact Health Sharing, what's the information that you're going to give me? How am I going to think about this compared to what I normally would think about having normal insurance?
Yeah.
Is how I get healthcare going to change? What's it look like and how's it different?
So the process of actually obtaining a quote is extremely simple. Yeah, you go onto our website, impacthealthsharing.com, you go to programs, you choose if you're an individual, a family, etc. So a family of three, so you take the birth date of the eldest person in that group, and basically you put in that person's their birth date, right? It's simple as that. Day, month, year. Choose how many members of will be in the family. In this case, you'd be three. And in our world, it's one, two, or three or more. So actually, if you have five, it's still the same price as if you had three, right? So it's pretty cool. And you just click submit. It's super easy. Within 30 seconds, you could have a quote. And one of the things that we do that we're very proud of is that we publish our guidelines, right? So in terms of there being pros and cons in terms of, okay, insurance or health share, it's so easy in our world. You could literally download our guidelines and you could see for yourself in terms of what's eligible, what's not eligible, right? We're very transparent about that. But in terms of us, we are very comprehensive, right? So the difference is that there might be limitations when it comes to pre-eligibility as opposed to insurance, but then you determine, right? Because of our published guidelines, you can make that determination and position your family really quickly to decide if healthcare is beneficial over insurance.
So you've got, I'm assuming, some type of you probably don't use this language, but like deductible or amount of money that like the family pays first before they can start sharing their healthcare costs. Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just like insurance, right? Again, our program is designed to be very similar to insurance, right? And most healthcare sharing organizations are because they do have deductibles in insurance. In our world, everyone has different language, right? So we call it a PRA, a personal responsibility amount. And so that would be equivalent to a deductible in the insurance world. Yes, when you go and when you get the pricing that I referred to, you put your birthdays in, put in how many people in your family, and then the pricing will come up in the pricing calculator. It will tell you what your price is per PRA level. And in our world, it's a 2,500, a 5,000, a 7,500, or a $10,000 PRA. So you determine where your comfort level is, and then that's basically where you could sign up at. And again, it's that simple, it's that quick. And an average for a family of three or more, you could pay as little as probably $350, and it's probably as
Wow.
much as 650-ish, right? Depending on your PRA level. So again, extremely affordable.
Okay, so that those numbers sound great. How do I use it? Is it I just give the card to the doctor, or
Yeah.
can I go to any doctor? How's that work?
Yeah, so I'm glad. So it allows me to unpack what I was referring to with the, how close we are similar to that insurance world, right? So yeah, when you sign up with us, we will mail you an Impact membership card, no different than an insurance card. It will have your BIN number, so for pharmacy, so to get your pharmacy discounts, you'll be able to have that in there. The payer IDs on the back of the card. So literally, just like you would with an insurance card, you go see the doctor, you hand them the payer ID, they will register the PayRD in their system. We are registered with all states in terms of in the United States, right, for that payer ID. So we are recognized, and they could send us the bill via EDI or electronically, that is, or physically, because it has our address or PO box on the back of it if they wanted to mail us again, providing the provider with an experience that they're extremely comfortable with and familiar with, providing the member slash consumer with an experience that if they came from the insurance world, that they're very familiar with, right? We were allowed to, when we, again, part of our initial creation of this is that we wanted to get you as close as possible to that experience, because from us, where we came from, we had insurance, right? Our company provided insurance to its employees, so we knew what the ideal experience was in our minds, and we wanted to recreate that, different from other healthcare sharing organizations out there, because some of them will have some sort of reimbursement sort of policies and so on. Again, those are great, those work, but not for us. We want to get it as close to what that initial experience is like, closest to insurance.
Okay, so it sounds like I can get my normal healthcare costs paid for. What happens in bigger healthcare events like a pregnancy, having a baby, or some kind of catastrophic illness or something like that? How does somebody manage that when they're on a health share or specifically impact health sharing?
Yeah, I could speak for us, right? Based on our guidelines. Again, there are limitations with pre-existing conditions. Let's think of it this way. From the day you sign up going forward, any illness or any sort of event that took place from that moment going forward, think of it. It's gonna be eligible for sharing, right? Something that may have happened in the past in terms of something you've been dealing with, some other illnesses that have been ongoing, that's considered pre-X, right? And so there is a fine guideline in our published guidelines, a fine line to distinguish what will be and what will not be. But think of it, from the day you sign up, any event going forward that took place from that moment going forward will be eligible in terms of pregnancies and any sort of catastrophic event that, God forbid, happens.
Okay, cool. Yeah, tell me a little bit about how you got involved in this, Chris. What you gave us a little bit of background of the company you were working with, but what's your personal journey coming to work in this healthcare space and why is it important to you?
It was always in the very beginning of Impact Health Sharing where there was a need to develop a team in the very early days. And what that team looked like, some of us immediately came over from our old company over to Impact Health Sharing. But Phil Chrysler and I specifically, listen, when we were at the old organization, I think we spent like 16 years together, right? I worked directly under him for a good period of time. And then as I rose up in the company, we became more like colleagues, right? So him and I have always been buddies, always been friends. So he knew I was going to be on the market as my time ended with the acquisition, right? Part of that acquisition. It just made sense. Phil said, "Hey, Chris, we know you're going to be a free agent. And there's obviously work that we started as a team when we were part of the old organization that you contributed. And we want you to bring your skill set here and we'd love for you to contribute to, what in that case, so I spent 19 years with the old organization. Maybe we can work towards something close to 19." And so, yeah, that allowed me to come on board. I serve as vice president of business development for the organization. So I look at partnerships, I look at membership perks, some things that we could throw into the membership to give much more of that presence in the marketplace. Last year, we launched a part of my first year with the organization, we launched a dental and vision discount program. So it allowed members to, not part of the sharing program, it was a discount program, but for them to now walk into their dentist, their eye doctor, and receive up to 60% off on normal visits, on sort of procedures that they were going to have. So literally it was, and what was great about us introducing, because of negotiation, because of our size of our organization as well, I was able to get us at a really nice position where it didn't cost the current membership anything additional to bring on the dental and vision discount program. So when you run, as Phil has, when you're running a program like ours, pretty lean and solid, it positions you, and you're blessed to have reserves in the bank. We are positioned very well, but it allows us to start doing things like throwing in these additional perks, allowing the members to use their membership, because that's what it is. It's a membership. You use your membership how you want to. Now it includes dental and vision. So very proud of being able to bring that on board last year. But that's what I'm here for. I'm here to add value, serve. We have a servant-minded leadership, just here to fit in as I can and help improve the cause.
That's awesome. What are some of the things that you guys are thinking about in the future as far as making your membership attractive to folks? And what are some areas that y'all are looking to go after and innovate on, I would say?
Yeah. Yeah, we look at the experience that the members currently having. So I'm talking present day. We're talking 5, 10 years from now. That's a different conversation. But in terms of the immediate future, we're looking at certain experiences that our members are having today and how can we improve those? Could we hold their hand in different processes? Could we help them with educating their provider? Because healthcare sharing isn't a well-known thing. It is a known thing, but it's not a well-known thing in throughout the United States. So helping us, holding the hand of the customer, helping them with their provider, creating this sort of concierge type service experience, right? What's great is that companies, different healthcare sharing companies out there, have different sort of levels of packages that you can enroll to, where with us, there's only one level, right? Different PRAs, there's no gold, silver, platinum, right? Everything's at a platinum level with us right now, right? So we're looking at, okay, what can we do to make that experience better, either with technology, either with concierge, customer member acceptance, all sorts of different ways. So that's what we're focused on right now, and we're most passionate about at this moment.
All right, I got to ask you about GLP-1s. What do you guys do about those? What do people who are interested in them? Because it's such a big topic right now, as far as specifically in the weight loss area, but then also just improving people's health in general. How's that work with Impact Health Sharing, or what's the position y'all have taken?
Listen, if your doctor is, again, let's remove pre-existing from the conversation. But if your doctor is telling you need to now go on this because of this new illness, there's nothing that's prohibiting you from doing that with us, right? If you're using it for what the doctor's not telling you to, then that's a different conversation. But they're out there that people are using it for weight loss. But listen, you're not diagnosed with anything in terms of, you're not using it for diabetes, you're using it for something, the alternative route. And that's a different conversation. But if your doctor's telling you, hey, this is something that we're recommending that you should get on because of this new illness of yours or whatever, yeah, that's something we're accepting. Again, if you're not using it for what's intended, that's a different conversation. Now, I will tell you, with our RX program, you still are going to save money if you wanted to. If someone's going to write your prescription for it, right? You could still save money on it. But in terms of it being eligible for sharing, et cetera, no, it won't be part of that.
Yeah. I appreciate you talking about that. Is there
And I'm
anything
not a
else
doctor,
that,
right? So that's something that
yeah,
I was like, yeah, our medical doctor, VP of billing, she could speak more on that. But again, if you're using it for not what it's intended to, let's just say it won't be accepted. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
Mhm.
hear you. Is there anything else that you want to talk about impact or the work that y'all are doing or anything like that?
Listen, to conclude, I'm just going to say that I'm super, super blessed to be part of this organization. For us, just doing what we've accomplished in just a short period of time in our 5 year history thus far. We believe, just based on what the industry experts are telling us, we're doing a fantastic job. And I just love to hear that. I love to know that. I know that I would like to add that we're paying eligible medical bills are being paid. I just wanted to make sure I qualify that by saying eligible medical bills are being paid within 13 days right now. Providers are getting
Wow.
payment pretty quickly. They're not accustomed to that, right? And so we've positioned ourselves because of having healthy reserves and so on, running that tight ship that I told you that Phil's just very passionate about running. Just because we're able to do that, it's positioned us to again pay eligible bills within 13 days, allows us to create our own little sort of reputation within providers. Different hospitals and so on are saying, hey, we may not accept those guys, but Impact will accept them. And we're hearing that more and more is the way you guys conduct business, because again, we come from an untraditional background of the way we do business, right? We didn't come from healthcare sharing. We didn't come from healthcare in general, right? But we came from a running businesses. And so having that in mind and taking pride in paying your bills and stuff like that, we've created that reputation. So I think that if someone's like considering healthcare sharing in general, I would hope that they would give us an opportunity, go to our website, take a look at what we're doing, and realize that we could be a great solution for, again, for you, your family, at your time of need. Cobra, we were a great alternative to Cobra that people don't even think about, right? Cobra is so expensive in itself, and we could be a great alternative for those things, again, depending on where your life is.
Chris from Impact Health Sharing, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today and telling us all about how you guys are making healthcare more cost effective for your members.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.